Welcome to another guide to Copperbell Mine, the dungeon. I'm Wobsy, I hope you're doing great today. This is one of the earlier ones you'll be doing. It is a fantastic little dungeon. It's about like level 17 to 20, give or take. Possibly even the second dungeon you do. As soon as you get into the first area, so obviously don't forget to drink your milk and also pop on your tank stance as well. Pick those guys up, and they will drop an item, a key, which you will need. You will need it for that door. I'm a little annoyed because I recorded all the audio for this and it messed up. This is my second time recording the audio for this damn video. Because I won't go into it. Editing. Anger is real. Anyway, I've got myself a former charge and a black mage. The AoE in this place was a freaking stellar, I tells you. Anyway, you got your sealed blasting door. Open that little bad boy up. Make your way in. Go to your elevator. Don't face the wrong way like a freaking idiot like I did. I always do this. I'm sorry, I'm just so much just like I'm so disappointed. But anyway, as you enter through this place, grab what you can because these bad boys will reset. Ignore that room on the right. You don't need to go in there. That room's just, I think there's like a chest. If you really want the extra loot, go for it. If you don't, just ignore it and just keep going. Keep running down. Grab ourselves that Copperbell Coiblin. Grab the big boy there too. Bring them to the center. Grab everything. Just grab it all. Well, only do it if you're comfortable doing. Once again, you are the conductor for the train, but the one providing the fuel is the healer. If the fuel cannot keep the train going, only go so fast. If the fuel can keep the train going, then you can go as fast as you well please. I always judge by how much they overheal and just keep everyone alive as well. Now, I remember the Formatage here does a very big boo-boo in a minute, which is something they really should not do. It is either here or it is later. It is a good thing because he'd actually been out speaking to me, but he also kind of runs right in front of, next to me as the tank, which is something you shouldn't do because cleaves are a thing. Granted, my own fault for not noticing the mob. But at this point, you'd be an innocent little sprout. It's not your fault if other people die because of stuff that you do. A tea moment and move on. Honestly, the community in 14 is amazingly pretty understanding. Rage doesn't tend to freaking ignite until like at the high end game, and even then, it's very minor. As you're down this place, you should notice there's an item over there on the lift, and don't forget to grab it. It is fire sand. You will need that for what's coming up soon. Just keep making your way through, kill all the enemies in here. As the tank, you probably won't get a chance to grab it, so make sure someone else does. If they don't, make sure you do. But yeah, like I was trying to say as well earlier, and in the previous version that I recorded of this is super straightforward. It won't stress you. The most problems you'll get is the first boss coming up. Every blasting door you go past, you get a boss. Let's put it that way. There's another fire sand on top of the mound, which is behind us. Once you've got both fire sand, you put it in the powder chamber and then use the blasting device. Now, in this next room, because I have actually cut this down a bit, it's just a lot of trash you have to fight to begin with. A lot of Spriggans, you get some blasting caps, take them all down. The problem is it takes a while and it really slows you down. Doesn't matter how quick you kill them, they still come at the same rate. So just take your time and enjoy yourself, really. Like, I pretty much found I could kill these with 1 to 2 hits, really. So there you go. There's the cut. It's like, oh my god, it's quicker than Sunny. Boss. Seamless, right? Kotos. He's straightforward too. He goes down really quick. You can interrupt that if you want to. He casts Immortalize, which makes him take reduced damage. It doesn't save him. He's not immortal. The axe says no. The axe always says no. Pick up your loot. Pick up the tiny key. Always pick up the keys. You can get the loot, get the loot. Now these 2 errant souls, you can just ignore them. At the tank, grab them. But everybody else just keep running. Go to the lift that's at the end of the corridor. And they will reset. There is no reason to fight those unless you really want that extra bit of XP. Which, you know, if you're desperate for it, go for it, you know. You do what you want to do. Make sure you face the opposite direction of where you just went. Because it tends to be the way lifts work in this game and in most games as well. I always forget. Hey, we've got ourselves another little room here. We've got some errant souls. This one will hard reset as well when it comes down here, as it is wont to do. In each side alcove are blasting caps, which you want to kill for fire sand. They will drop the fire sand you need to progress into the next room, which will contain the boss. Grab what you need to grab. Pretty damn straightforward. Might even actually skip ahead a little bit. Pick up that little fire sand, as you can see it right there. At this point, you'll have 2. Once again, put them into the powder chamber and then use the blasting device as well again. And you will enter the next room where the second boss is. Interesting mechanics once again. Like the first boss is just like a load of trash. Pick up that fire sand as well. You'll need it for this fight, believe you me. First boss fight, a load of trash, and then suddenly you finally fight the boss. This one, the DPS does nothing, and it's all down to the tank and the healer, really. Well, they don't do anything straight away, let's just be honest about that. That blasting cap there, I used to always think you had to damage it and attack it. I found out in this actual run, and I've done this playthrough for quite a few times as well, that thing's actually on a timer. I always thought you had to get into a certain percentage to make it go boom, as a lot of people seem to know that. Think that, sorry. You don't. It is on a timer. Anyway, every time that explodes, it will damage the Icarus Eye. If you try and DPS it down normally, you'll be there forever. You will be. Now, another thing that's very important to remember is do not be in the blasting area, the blasting cap. Make sure the boss is, because they're very slow, but do not be in there yourself, because unless you're the tank and use a cooldown, it's very likely you'll die. Now, as DPS, you don't just stand there and dance. You can stand there and dance and look pretty if you want to. But there will be a Spriggan that appears. So it's a good idea to kind of kill those. That's your job when they spawn every now and then. Oh, and of course, improvised blasting device. Ideally, someone else activates that, not the tank. It's a really good thing for you to do. So after about 3 blasting caps, this will now be killable by everyone's damage. Yeah, it'll even say a Spriggan is attacking the blasting cap. It used to do a lot more damage. It's like, oh no, it's not going to do it. These are now small enough to kill. It's just overpower. At least there's a way to overpower any AoE, and they'll just die within seconds. Pick up the fire sand it drops, loot the chest, pick up any gear that you can get an upgrade with. At this point, honestly, like, I believe you'd have like either better gear or you're already quite high, so you should be okay. But pick them up for Grand Company seals or decent thing if you've got to that point already somehow, because you're a crafting maniac. Go past that door, like we just saw anyway when you do it. I always go down the centre a bit, because I always just like go down the centre a bit. You avoid the entire left-hand side of the room. You don't need to kill everything, unless you really want to. It's a small room anyway. Pick him up. A big boy will come from behind. Grab him up. And just swagger in. It'd be amazing. You'd be like, yeah, how you doing? I'm doing great. Now, this next boss coming up is not what I call difficult at all. Even mechanic-wise. I still think Sastasha was a really strong freaking dungeon for the very first dungeon as well. And I think it's a shame that Copperbell Mines was, I don't want to say a letdown, but it just mechanically is not as good as like a lot of the dungeons. It's definitely the weakest one, even in ARR. Like even like compared to Tamtar Deepcroft, 1000 Moors, Sastasha, this is weak. This is weak. But it's nice that they try to put a few different sort of mechanics in, and it does make it a little bit more enjoyable, but nothing excessively enjoyable. Also, a very rare sight to see, which I forgot to mention, is a female Elysian. Lots of male Elysian about, but a female Elysian, they are rare and you must protect their existence. Here he comes. Here's Unky. Right. This boss fight is a crime to call a boss fight. He has a giant hammer. He doesn't do that much. Like, even to the tank, he didn't do a lot of damage. He will spawn mobs over time. When he reaches about 75% health, he will run over and start smashing down a wall. You really don't need to worry about that. You can just focus on Gygus the Great. As always, pop your cooldowns, keep the aggro on you, give him a pat because he's just pitiful. He really is. Breaking through that boulder. Those ads will spawn. Ignore them, like I said, and I'll say it again, ignore them. They will constantly spawn. They will run over onto the right hand side or left hand, whatever you're going to go with. They'll run over to the west. And they will start breaking down a wall over there to spawn more ads to break down another wall. This enemy doesn't live long enough. It doesn't live long enough for it to be an issue. You can even take that Colossal Slam if you want to, as a tank. I don't anyway, for practice sake, because it's good to, you know, just get it into your muscle memory and to like, oh yeah, right, that's a bad thing, move out of the way. I'd even say as a DPS, don't even move from Colossal Slam. I think it stuns. I just weep at this fight. Anyway, that is Copperbell Mines. Really straightforward. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of Final Fantasy XIV. It does keep just getting better and better. Enjoy the victory. Give your commendations out. Pat the Lala. Pat the other Lalas. And come watch me on twitch.tv/Wobsy. And take care of yourselves. Goodbye for now.